Out in Vietnam, the American soldiers wore these special jungle boots, and they had a special lightweight cotton uniform as well. And they were mostly armed with the M16 automatic rifle. This one is just a replica. These are the jungle boots. The part nylon webbing and part leather. These have got the Panama soles. These are for in the jungle. They have a vent there. And during the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong used to set booby traps. They'd be like spikes in the ground, so they had to put reinforcements in the soles of the shoes. So these are spike protective, and these were made in 1968. But these have never been issued. These are like brand new. This lightweight jungle uniform, it's styled very much on the Second World War American paratrooper uniform. They've got the large bellowing gusseted pockets, top and bottom, slant pockets at the top, big pockets in the trousers, but made of a very lightweight material. Now there were different models of these. The first shirt that came out, they had epaulets on, and then they did away with those. They're all, and then some had buttons showing, and then they were concealed. There's all different types. And then we've got the belt. That's fastened with what's known as the hook and ball. And if you look at the weave on the belt, that's vertical. The early belts had horizontal weave, and they also had another belt called with the Davis buckle. That didn't go into service very long. And then the webbing equipment's what's known as the 56 pattern webbing equipment. And again with the pouches, there was different models and like slightly different sizes, and on the sides there were some fittings there to carry grenades or smoke bombs. They're not real, they're just dummy ones. And then fastened to the Y straps, the shoulder straps, on one side they got a torch because the Vietnamese, they had dug a lot of tunnels out in the jungle, so that was for going down there. And that little pouch on the left hand side of the picture there, inside there's a compass, but sometimes as well they would have a first aid dressing pouch. On the ammunition pouch there's a small strap. That small strap there, that's fastened to the ammunition pouch, and then it goes up to there and it's hooked onto that hook there, so to stop it falling over and take the weight. This pouch has the compass in. Like I said, sometimes they would have a field dressing in. That's the compass. Was that focusing? It's a magnetic compass. And when I bought the bandolier, each pouch has its cardboard case that's to hold the rounds, 5 rounds in each one, and each pocket's got one of those in. This is the belt with the Davis buckle. This came out I think in 1967, I think. I don't think it went into service for long, or there wasn't many issued. You can see there it's got the focus, will you? No. Well, there you go. There you go. During the Vietnam War, the Americans were still using the M1 helmet, steel helmet, but it was slightly smaller than they used in the Second World War. On the cover on it, there's a camouflage pattern on it. The pattern's called the Mitchell pattern, and it's green on one side and brown on the other. And then they have an elasticated band around the edge down the middle there to hold it in place, and it's got it written on there, Band Helmet Camouflage US. Around the back they have a small pack, and that's known as the butt pack, and underneath that, that's a rolled up poncho. Then on the left hand side there's a folding entrenching tool, very similar to what they did in the Second World War, but now on the holder for the entrenching tool they've got a fitting there to hold the bayonet. Then over on the right hand side is a water canteen that fastens to the this one's fastened to the butt pack, but quite often they'd have two canteens because it's so hot out there and humid in the jungle. They'd probably have two canteens. There's the water canteen. By the time of the Vietnam War, they'd gone away from aluminium. They've got plastic water canteens. And that other pouch there, that's inside there, in that pouch there. There's some pieces there for cleaning the rifle. There's a wire brush there and some pipe cleaners. And then under the inside there, it's a bipod. For you just fasten that just spring loaded, it fastens to the rifle, and you've got a stand for your rifle. Now, the entrenching tools, they're very similar to what they did in the Second War, but now they have a special, an extra piece there, that's a pick. They can use it as a pick now as well. It's almost out like that. During the Vietnam War, flak vests were quite common for soldiers to wear. They first came out for the US Army in the Korean War. This is a 1952 model. It's got no collar and epaulets on the side, but in the 1960s they did away with the epaulets, and then they had a 3/4 collar, stand-up collar, give more protection to the neck. But both this type and the ones from the 60s with the high collar, they were both used throughout the Vietnam War. One of the worst jobs out in Vietnam was to be the radio operator. It's a really heavy piece of kit. The top half's the radio, the bottom half is the battery. And it was said at the time that when a combat started or a firefight, the life expectancy of a radio operator was 5 seconds. Like, they had nowhere to hide really. When they had the aerial sticking up, they were just a target. That was one of the first people the Viet Cong would take out. This is the PCR-10 radio pack. These were used at the beginning of the Vietnam War. I think these are used in Korea as well. Later on they had an improved model. Now, they also came with this. This is a pack. There's some extra pieces in here. There's the handset there. Switch on the side. There's a socket there. That goes into there. That's the handset. And also we've got, that's the short antenna that goes into there, and the other hole's for the large antennae. That's the long. It's all folded up now. That's really long. And there's another one here. That's a more solid one. But like I said before, the radio operators, they were one of the first targets that the Viet Cong would aim at when they were coming into contact with the Americans. This was the main weapon of the American soldiers in Vietnam. It is a replica. It's one of those Denix replicas, but it's made of metal and plastic like the originals. It's quite heavy. It's quite realistic. Now, that was developed by a chap called Eugene Stoner, and the first ones came out in 1959, but they didn't see much service with the Americans until 1964, when the Special Forces went out to Vietnam to help with the South Vietnamese. But some had a 20-round magazine, then later they had a 30. But this is a replica of the M16A1. The original M16, they had quite a few problems with it. If it wasn't cleaned out properly, the bullets would jam. So but they did eventually sort out all the problems out, and it became a really effective and reliable rifle. It could be used on semi-automatic or full auto. Between 1963 and 1966, British soldiers found themselves fighting out in the jungles of Borneo or Malaya. That conflict started when North Borneo, which was ruled by England, they wanted to integrate that into Malaya, but Indonesia wasn't too happy about that, so there's a bit of a conflict started there between Indonesian and Commonwealth troops. Now, the British troops were issued with these jungle boots, but they weren't very popular and weren't very good. Very soft, and they had no drain holes. Your feet would be sodden for days on end. And I bought these about 4 years ago, and when I got them, the black rubber around the edges there, they were soft and supple. And when I took them out of the box yesterday, that was storing them in, they've gone hard and brittle and crumbling away. They're rubbish, really. And then by this time, the British soldiers were using the L1A1 rifle, and they had a special jungle suit in lightweight cotton green. And there's well, you can't just about see it there. There's a large map pocket on the side of the left leg there. Towards the end of the Second World War, the British Army were looking into some new jungle equipment because they found that the 37 pattern used to rot away very quickly. So they came up with this. This is the 1944 pattern. The metalwork now, instead of being brass, it's made of aluminium, and the cotton webbings are made from a rot-proof material. If you look on the pouches there, they've got quick release fittings. And then across his chest there's a strap there. That's just to keep the backpack secure. And he's wearing an Airtex cotton shirt in dark green. They had those in the Second World War, Airtex shirts. And then on top, out in the jungle, they wouldn't wear steel helmets, they would wear a bush hat. On the sleeve of the shirt, what I've never noticed before, on the right arm, there's been some badges there before, and it looks like it's been the wings of a parachute trooper, and he was a lance corporal. I hadn't noticed that before. On the side of the left-hand ammo pouch would be the bayonet. There's some special straps there fastened to the ammunition pouch to hold the bayonet. On the 44 pattern webbing equipment, the water canteen is now changed to aluminium. It's in a loose fitting case, and the case is attached to the belt by these hook systems. That's the same as the Americans had in the Second World War. Then they have a small backpack, and there are two smaller packs, one on either side, to put all the bits and pieces of equipment in. And there's two straps underneath as well for a ground sheet or a blanket. And then on top of the flap of the backpack, there's some more fittings, there's some more hook fittings there. That's for the Golok machete. Now the water canteen is very similar to what the Americans had in the Second World War. It's got the bottle and the cup. The cup is dated 1945. It's got the broad arrow stamp, and then The water canteen, the early ones had a chain on the top there. Later on in the 60s and 70s, they would just have a piece of string. And then this is the machete. It's you see the marker. You probably can't see the marker there, but it's made by Martingales in Birmingham, and it's a number 2. I've taken the backpack off just to show you the unusual strapping system for the shoulder straps. They've got like double lots there, and there's the usual ones that go around the middle of the back, and then some others go around to the side just to take the weight. Quite unique that to the 44 pattern. This is the L1A1. I'm not going to do too much of an explanation on this video, because I have another video coming up on the Falklands War, and I'll go into more detail on the gun in that one.